The snickers he might have been able to take. The looks of derision he might have been able to ignore. But now they were just openly mocking him as if he couldn't hear it. Of course, they knew he could, and either didn't care or wanted him to. In the end, all that mattered was the message was sent loud and clear. You don't belong here. Giga was just shy of 4.5 feet tall, small even for his species, and from a race known for their intelligence rather than physical prowess. The Hydal Collective were known as such because they were capable of forming a temporary hive mind with others of their kind, by quite literally putting their heads together. As long as physical contact was maintained between individuals, the connection would not break, and thoughts could flow freely through their collective minds. This led to their race evolving to be incredibly efficient and developing technologies and systems that require minimal physical effort on the part of the Hydal themselves. As such, they developed greatly in mind but not in body, and it had to be said that most looked almost pathetic when seen outside of specially designed exosuits that enabled them to carry out physically taxing tasks with relative ease. Humans had even commented that they resembled some of the first interpretations of what aliens might look like in their earlier generations, from the grey skin and small thin bodies, to the large heads that sat on their shoulders. This all being the case, it was clear that Giga had no business being at a gym of all places, and the other members, at least the ones willing to give him any attention at all, were more than happy to show their agreement. He saw some of them take out recording devices and, not wanting to be humiliated further, was about to leave when a tall human with the squarish jawline he'd ever seen in his life jogged up to him. The man was shredded, as the humans put it, and Giga bet he could pick out each individual muscle in his body from 20 feet away if he had to. Honestly, he could have served as a perfect human model for educational purposes. You're new here, right bro? Come with me and I'll show you the ropes. Without waiting for an answer, the human placed his hand on Giga's back and guided him to the other side of the gym, and away from the Gorkas. They stopped in front of a length of thick rope on the floor, looped for a ring bolted to the ground. Well, these are the ropes. Sorry bro, bad joke, but I couldn't resist. Anyway, if you don't mind me saying, you don't exactly look like you've done a ton of cardio, so we're definitely going to have to work on your stamina before anything else, but first and foremost, stretching. Just do what I do, but don't push yourself. The human sat on the floor, facing towards the other side of the gym, and patted the spot in front of him so that Giga would only see him and the wall behind him, preventing the Hydal from seeing if the others were still watching. Even knowing that the man was obviously doing this for his benefit, Giga was just so taken aback by how natural he was about it, that he just ended up doing what the human said without question. Following his new acquaintance's lead, he sat on the floor with his legs straight out in front of him, and tried to emulate the human as he practically folded himself in half as he stretched. Giga was far less capable, and quickly reached the limits of his flexibility, but let out a grunt of effort and tried to force himself further, thinking the human might think he was wasting his time if he didn't, when he felt hands on his shoulder pushing him back up. Nah bro, not like that. You try to force something and it's either going to break or tear, and that's just going to set you back even more. You gotta be patient and work with your body, not against it. You'll get there eventually, I promise. Now try again, but this time, when you reach your limit, instead of trying to force yourself forward, breathe out and relax into the stretch. See what happens. Giga's face was pink with shame, but the human didn't seem to notice or care, and so he did as he was told and tried again, surprised to find that when he breathed out, he could actually go deeper than before, without feeling like he was fighting his own body. Awesome. Now hold it for another 5 seconds and come back up. He felt the human's hand pressing lightly on his back, one of his fingers tapping out each of the 5 seconds for him. Nice and slow, bro. Alright, now you've got the basic idea of it, I'm going to walk you through a couple more stretches, and then we'll hit the track. Sound good? Giga was surprised to find himself nodding along with the human's plan, and he just seemed to know what to do, and it seemed like the most natural thing to listen. 30 minutes later, and feeling looser than he ever had before, he followed the human to the indoor track, and contrary to expectations, they started a casual walk. Aren't we going to run or something? Giga looked around at the other members who were doing everything from jogging to sprinting, while they were just walking. It didn't feel like he was doing what he was supposed to compared to everyone else. Bro, it's your first day, and I'm willing to bet you'd never stretched out like we just did. You're already going to be sore as hell tomorrow, and making you run when you haven't had a chance to build your stamina yet would be just cruel. Baby steps, bro. Gotta walk before you can run, literally in your case. Now, if you want to talk about something you can do outside of the gym, we could talk diet. What type of food do you normally eat? Oh, you should also grab a protein powder sample out of the shop on your way out today, just to see if you like it. They've got chocolate, vanilla, most of the basic human flavors actually, but also a bunch of others that I'm not even going to try to pronounce, and aside from the one I'm convinced is supposed to taste like dirt, they're not half bad. Giga just walked in silence for a while as the human rambled on, passionately, about the importance of diet and exercise, throwing in personal pearls of wisdom here and there. And eventually he took an active role in the conversation, the presence or thoughts of anyone around them fading away, as he found himself fully engrossed in the discussion. Over 2 hours later, time Giga hadn't felt pass at all, the human's watch beeped. Well, time to hit the showers. Got a full day of work tomorrow and getting a good night's sleep is super important. Gonna swing by here around the same time as today, so we'll pick this up then, okay bro? Giga, who was only now becoming aware that his legs felt like jelly after so much walking, suddenly realised that neither he nor the human had actually told each other their names, called out to the man who had started jogging towards the locker rooms. Wait a minute, what's your name bro? I'm Giga. Turning so he was still moving towards the locker room, only backwards now, the human playfully smacked the side of his head, giving a laughter-riddled response before disappearing through the doorway. Oh, duh. My bad, bro. Totally slipped my mind. I'm Chad.